Struggling with Google Ads? I have the solution. Keep watching. What up, guys? My name is Andrew. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a software engineer, and an ex-junk removal business owner. I started a junk removal business as a stepping stone to return to my passion of technology and apps. I invite you to stick around, hang out, and follow me on my journey from recently selling my junk removal business to building a $1 billion home services app, and that is true. I've done this in a while. I actually have a kind of, not really a script, still freestyling, but bullet points. Okay, so let me grab my soda. Can't forget the diet, caffeine-free Coke. My goal was to quit January, but I was doing so much stuff and getting into a health kick that it was hard to do everything all at once. I decided that I would do this in February. So we have a 12 pack left, and it's gonna be my last 12 pack of soda forever, besides, you know, the occasional treat. Oh, I'm gonna miss that. Before we dive into the content, guys, we are going to talk about the upcoming event. If you want to get more information about the event where you can win a $5,000 website, $5,000 in marketing material, a $10,000 dump trailer, if you guys want to learn more about that, watch this video here. So there's the virtual event and the in-person. You can go to both, you can go to one of them. I am giving away a 10,000 dump trailer at the virtual event. Anybody can attend, no catch, no gimmicks, no nothing. February 24th, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There will be links in the video description. There will be links in the comments. Go watch the video. But yes, in less than a month, I'm giving away a $10,000 dump trailer. All right, guys, it's time to talk about Google Ads. We're gonna talk about the problem. All of the companies that do junk removal ads, which there's a handful of them. I made a video with a list of all the companies. You guys know I use ClickSkeek. I've tried JRA. I've tried PerfectClick. The difference between all these companies, all this stuff, okay? We're gonna talk about the solution and then the conclusion. Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to break this video down as much as I can because this has been something for the last year that I have been dealing with. So I think I've got like 3 or so Google Ads videos. I'm kind of known as the Google Ads guy because I cranked up my Google Ads to $300,000 per year. I was spending about $250,000 on normal Google Ads and then about $50,000 on Google local service ads. Year 1, I spent $300,000 on ads, Google ads, and local service ads. Year 2, I forget the exact number, but somewhere in the ballpark of $250,000 to $300,000 again as well. And if you go all the way back in time and you go to my first video, all the way back a year ago, at that point, I think that video that I made, I was 4 months into the business and I've already cranked my Google ads to like 200, 300 a day or something like that. So I became known as the guy who does Google Ads. In my course, I teach you how to run your entire Google Ads campaign if you want to do it yourself. And I allow people to book free little 10-minute, 15-minute phone calls with me. And also I let people in the course book unlimited phone calls with me. You know, I think that's more value in itself, that you can literally call me anytime you want or text me if you have questions. The number 1 question I get all the time, guys, is Google Ads. I give my agency that I use, ClickSkeek. I still stand by ClickSkeek as being one of the best out there. Now, can there possibly be somebody who does junk removal ads only be a little bit better and maybe get you some better results? Of course, there can of course be people who do better landing pages, a little bit better copy, and all that stuff. And I've been beating myself up because it's the same question for a year that I've been struggling with and trying to give them an answer to what's going on, because it's the same question over and over. My ads aren't working. ClickSkeek didn't work out. I switched to so-and-so company. I tried this company, and it's the same question over and over. I had the same problem with PerfectClick, but PerfectClick works great for everybody else, and Eric from PerfectClick is great, so PerfectClick probably could have worked out for me too. And we're gonna really dive into what I think the problem is. I've come up with 2 solutions, and I hope these 2 solutions can be the answer. Let's get this rolling and start with the problem. I got my notes in front of me. Let's go through them. We got to address the first problem that some people make. Most of you do not make this mistake, but quite a few of you do, is you hire a local agency who doesn't do junk removal. You can work with a local agency if you know what to tell them to do and you make sure they're doing it and you have access to the account to make sure they're doing it. I asked them to, tell me the agency that they're working with or give me access to the Google Ads account, which most people, they don't even have access to their Google Ads account because the company doesn't want you to see everything, which That's a story in itself. These local agencies don't understand the keywords that you need to avoid. There are so many bad keywords in this industry. They don't know that trash is a bad keyword. They don't know that garbage is a bad keyword. So you start paying for all these horrible keywords that you shouldn't be paying for, and you burn through your money. They don't know that city should be a negative keyword, pickup should be a negative keyword, Bagster should be a negative keyword, city, county, bulky. All those keywords are people that are assuming waste management will come pick it up for free. And there's countless negative keywords that they just assume would still be okay. When you actually start seeing what people type in, there's all kinds of negative keywords that you have to account for. These local agencies don't understand in the junk business will screw you up. So they burn through their budget and they come to YouTube, they come to Facebook, and they say Google Ads doesn't work. With that being said, do not hire an agency who does not know junk removal. Unless you know every negative keyword. Maybe you join my course and you got my negative keyword list and you could hand it to them. But at the end of the day, you still should hire somebody who understands junk removal. Problem number 2, and this is a big one, guys. You don't have the budget to handle bad weeks. There are weeks that are so bad to where I lose money. Even if you're bidding on all the right keywords, junk removal Los Angeles, get rid of old furniture, company to remove furniture, all these keywords, phrases, and everything. You have your negative keywords perfect. You're not showing up for free. You're not showing up for trash or garbage or city trash pick, whatever. You have everything perfect. Let's say your ads are great. Your ad copy is great. You're getting a high CTR, click-through rate. Your landing page is great. You can't control price shoppers. You can't control a bad run. It just happens in this business. There's been days where I closed every phone call and I felt like I was on God mode. There's days where, I'll spend $500 to $1,000 a day. I'm not closing. It happens. I'll spend, $300 in gas and dump or $500 and I'll spend $700 in ads. I'm $1,000 in the labor for both locations. I'm already $1,300 in the hole. I've gone days where I didn't even make $1,300 back 7 days in a row, but it balances out. It always averages out at the end of the month. Usually by the end of the week, it'll balance out, but definitely by week 2. But I like to look at things monthly. If I put in 30,000 in ads in the month, by the end of the month, I should get back 3x. I should get back 90 grand. If I put in 15, I should get back at minimum 3x. So first, your ads need to be running perfect, but you need the budget because you might get into this business. You go through the learning phase, you have to adjust. And just because that ad agency has a negative keyword list that they could dump into your campaign doesn't mean other negative keywords won't show up that you have to filter through and optimize and, until your ads start running smoothly, because Google just doesn't throw you in and put you number 1 and make things perfect. Google has its stupid algorithm, right? It's very possible that you have a bad week run, 2 weeks bad run. The first month could be rough depending on the learning phase and how much you're spending per day. Maybe you're not spending enough. Number 3, guys, and I have to say this, you might suck at the phones. You might not have a good personality. You might not be good at sales yet. You might not be confident. You might just suck at phones. And if you are someone who you think you're just not good on phones, get somebody who is good on phones or get better at the phones. At the end of the day, guys, you need to get in front of the customer and be friendly. Just be super friendly on the phone, get in front of them, try to book as many appointments as you can and close them in person. Now, I know some people are like, gotta give the price over the phone. I gotta be transparent. Bro, you do you, okay? If that's how you want to roll, that's fine. I don't care how you roll, but the point is you need to get good at phones. I like to say that I booked on a bad day single item removals and all that stuff. It's rough. Sometimes you'll do less than 50%. But when I was on the phones, I felt like I was closing everything. I wasn't measuring as much when I was on the phones to when I got my agents on the phone. I was measuring everything. My agent closed 45%. I'd like to say I was probably near 60%. But like I said, off days and off weeks. So keep that in mind. Number 3, you suck at phones. Number 4, your average job size isn't high enough to justify your customer acquisition cost. If you look at my CAC, for my Google ads, $55 per conversion per lead. Every 50% I close. So every 2 phone calls, $110, I close 1 person. $110 customer acquisition cost to get in front of the customer, assuming I close that sale. So It might even be a little bit lower, but we know that I close, I would say 95% of the time I close, right? When you get there, you pretty much close. If you're good and your prices aren't crazy and you're good at in-person sales and you got some riz, your AJS should be a minimum of 350. Your AJS isn't as important when you're not paying, but you still want a higher average job size. Of course, you always want to get a higher average job size. But if your CAC is $110, and if your average job size is 300 and it's about an hour of labor and gas and drive time going to the dump, your COGS can bring that 300 down to 250. 200. My COGS are very high. If you watch my KPIs video here, my COGS were, let's just say worst case scenario, 50%. My average job size was 450, but let's just use for the sake of math, 400. COGS bring it down to 200. My customer acquisition cost is 110. 110 to bring in 200 profit. So if you do the math, technically my average job size was 50. My COGS, I want to say was 40%. That means $270 is profit. Average job size. Obviously you get those big ticket items and stuff. We don't need to talk about that. So you might not be making enough from your average job size. You need to measure the data coming in from your Google Ads and mark it in your field service management software, like my software, Dispatch, coming out, and we're making the software announcement February 24th. You measure and log, okay, this was a Google job. And then at the end of the month, you see how much you spent on Google, you see how many jobs you got and how much money you made, you do the math, figure out your average job size, just get your average job size in total, and figure out what your CAC is with Google. You might be losing money and you don't even know it. So you need to measure your performance. So that was number 4. Your AJS isn't high enough to justify your CAC. Number 5, you don't stay with the company long enough. But you don't want to stay with the company long enough until everything that we just talked about is fixed. You got to get good at the phones. You need budget. Your AJS has to be higher. When all those are checked off and you're with an agency that specializes in junk removal, you need to stick through it. You need to stick through 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. The more competitive it's getting, the longer you need to stick through it. Prices might be going up. And that's why I consistently talk about having budget before getting into Google Ads. Number 6, guys, this is more of a statement that you need to understand. And I'd like you to comment down below what your cost per conversion is. I'm paying $50 to $55 per conversion. I'm tracking email leads and phone calls. That's a conversion. Somebody goes to your landing page or whatever, types in their email, or they call you. Conversion. Google then knows, okay, X amount of clicks equals, you finally got a phone call lead. So as soon as I get an email lead, I call them and try to close them. It's costing $55 per phone call. And this is what I'm hearing nationwide. There's somebody in the Facebook groups. I've heard them in one state is 35 and the other state, they have another location, it's actually 55. There might be states where the average cost per conversion is a little bit lower, a little bit higher. I'm hearing this from other people in all kinds of states. It's costing $60 to $90 for Google Local Service Ads. Google Local Service Ads, different than Google Ads. Now, if Google Local Service Ads is costing me $90 and I close about half of them, assuming both those phone calls cost $90, my customer acquisition cost, that would make $180, and I'm making $450 average job size, and if you subtract the COGS, I'm still in the green. Yeah, it works out. You're going to be less profits, but you're going to be building up that customer database, and the numbers work out. But you have to have the bankroll to afford this. What you guys need to realize is it's costing you $55 a phone call. So if you want 10 phone calls from Google and you close half of them, 5 jobs a day, you need to spend $550 a day. And you have to stick with it. You have to let it run. Take me, for example. I would have a bad week spending $700 a day. I have 2 locations, right? With both locations combined, I would sometimes spend $1,300. I would sometimes spend only $500. It really depends on the season, the day, the month. It averaged out to like $700 a day. There was a month where I spent $30,000, and there was a month, where I spent on average $20,000. It comes out to $666 a day. If you go back in my videos, I show you my Google Ads account and I run through it all. Point being, guys, is I had weeks burning money, just $700 a day, and it just doesn't go my way. And that's gonna happen, guys. You need to understand that sometimes it just doesn't go your way. So if you want those phone calls, you have to pay for them, but realize sometimes it's just gonna be bad and you need to be able to stick it through. Those are the 6 problems, but there is another one that just came to mind that I'm gonna add to this problem list right now. That is competition. How Google works is it's a bidding war. You're paying per click. If somebody comes in and picks the same keyword and says, I want to be above that person, I'm willing to pay, instead of $1 a click, I'm willing to pay $2 a click, $3 a click. It's a bidding war. Competition is naturally going to drive up the price. But at the end of the day, the competition will level out because there is a number that we're willing to pay, that all of us are willing to pay, that makes sense. We're not going to pay $100 a click. We're not going to pay $500 a phone call. So there will be a peak that will reach that the max competitor that they're willing to pay. And then we can get in the second place. Maybe Junk King and 1-800-GOT-JUNK are fighting for number one. Google's rotating those three people at the top. They have local service ads, then they have normal Google ads. I think Google local service ads will sometimes show 2, it'll show 3, then below that there will be 1, 2, or 3, 2 or 3 more ads on rotation. So you got 2 local service ad spots, 3 normal Google ad spots, I think. So, and it's just rotating between those 5 companies. We're all bidding against each other. So YouTubers like me are driving up the price. I'm sorry guys, that's the reality of it. It's been $55 of conversion since I started 2 years and 4 months ago, which is kind of crazy. I thought it would go up a little bit more, but it's actually been staying right there. But what has gone up is Google local service ads. And I think why? Google local service ads easier to get into, which is driving the price of local service ads up, while people who try Google ads give up. It's too hard. They give up on the company they hired. They bounce around and they just end up sticking with local service ads. So I think more people are jumping into local service ads because it's easier, driving up the price, while my Google ad conversion per phone call has been the same for 2 years and 4 months. So that is the 7 problems that I have figured out, discovered while talking to you guys. First of all, I want you guys to address all of the problems and knock those out. And this is the next biggest thing, is when you guys call me or they call me, and I've talked to hundreds of people, they'll try these different agencies. They'll try a local person and I'll tell them, no, don't do that. They figured that out, and they'll go try ClickSkeek. They'll say it doesn't work. Then they'll hop over to JRA, or they'll come from JRA, it doesn't work. They'll try ClickSkeek and they say it doesn't work. Now I'm sitting here perplexed. How could it not work? And I'm confused because I know how ClickSkeek runs their ads. I know their ad groups, I know their keywords, I know their negative keywords, I know their landing page. It's the same shit, okay? It's all the same shit. They're running junk removal ads for junk removal companies. They know what needs to be done. They know the negative keywords. They know free. They know county, city, bulky item pickup, trash, garbage. We all have a landing page. Some of them will send them to your website and they'll customize your website to be straightforward enough to understand, call this number or submit a form lead. You can send them to your website if your website is optimized for it, because you can also get more information. You can set up pixels. There's all kinds of things you can do if you send it to your website. But the reason why most people do a landing page is so they have control. But also you have measurable data. They all know this. They all know the keywords. They all know the negative keywords. And they know the landing page. They know the ad copy. They should have if they're doing junk removal ads. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, I'm killing it with ClickSkeek. Why aren't you? It's the same shit. And they would tell me, I tried ClickSkeek, didn't work. Quite a few people that I talk to stick with ClickSkeek and it's working great. I tried JRA, didn't work. Some people are working perfect click and it's working great. So I'm sitting here confused. It has to be one of the 7 problems. It has to be. There's no other answer. So I want you to go back to the problem and just really think about it, okay? What I'm trying to say, guys, they're all kind of the same. That is the God's honest truth. Now, before you run to the comments and go, they're not all the same, let's jump into the differences. The difference is, yes, they're gonna have, some of them are gonna have different ads, some are gonna have different ad copy. The landing page will absolutely be different. And yes, these are things that could absolutely give you better click-through rates and give you better conversions on your landing page. You might have a button right down here that's a red giant button with a phone call symbol where the thumb on the phone lands and they'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna hit the call button. There's things that can give you better conversions, right? So what is the difference? Customer service, number 1. That is going to be one of the differences. One of the major differences that a lot of people say is customer service is bad. They don't respond. They don't do this. They don't do that. Now, there's not much they can do. They have the ads up. You need to just spend the money and you need to close on the phone. Most of these companies will put in call rails so you can hear the call recordings and track your calls. Most of them will by default put in ClickCease and ClickGuard. That helps with stopping spammers from clicking your ads. And you're not going to ever be able to stop that completely. From the research that I've done, is you can't stop people from clicking your ads. You can't stop your competitor from calling 20 of her friends, telling them to go search junk removal and click on your ads. You're not going to be able to stop that. There's no solution. What you have to do is have the bankroll to fight through it. In the beginning, when I started running my Google ads, I could have sworn, I was like, what the hell? I'm getting all these clicks and the phone calls. Is it click fraud? It's driving me crazy. You do what you can. You set up call reels, you set up ClickSeats or ClickGuard, and you fight through it with having budget. Bankroll. Eventually, your competitors will give up. They've realized you're here to stay. But difference number one is customer service. I understand that. Customer service is huge, okay? So find the company with the best customer service. Number two, transparency. What do they let you see? How reserved are they? How much do they hide? Do they give you access to your own Google's account? Do they let you see your own landing page? Their landing pages will be different. One landing page might be better than the other. One ad copy might be a little bit better than the other. But at the end of the day, we're running an ad for junk removal. When somebody says junk removal Los Angeles, your company is going to be rotated between 3 other people. And yours is going to say same day pickup, same day junk removal. They're going to click the ad. They're going to go to the landing page. They're going to call you. The end. This should not come off negative. This should actually come off inspiring. That the problem isn't the company. I can speak for the ones that I've used. Perfect Click wasn't the problem, guys. It was me. Okay, Perfect Click is great. Eric has exceptional customer service. He's on top of it. If you're going to give a company a chance, I'm going to always stand by ClickSeek. ClickSeek has gotten me $2.1 million in sales off of 500, 600,000 in Google Ads spend. And Perfect Click was exceptional with customer service too. But as I was going through my checklist of 7 things, I didn't follow all 7 things on my own problem checklist. I didn't give Eric at Perfect Click the chance that he deserved. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out because I didn't want to screw up my campaign with ClickSeek. But of course I had to try Perfect Click because they have AI in the title and I was very curious about it and everybody was telling me to give them a shot. And anyways, this is not a talk about Perfect Click versus JRA versus ClickSeek, but yes, pick a company and stick with it. Follow all the 7 problems. And here is the solution. We're gonna finally get to the solution. Right now, it's not gonna be the solution you wanna hear. You guys bounce around from ad company to ad company and you keep saying it doesn't work. So, solution number 1, reverse engineer the problem. I want you to go up to all 7 steps and reverse them. Let's take a look. Problem number 1, you don't have the budget for bad weeks. You can have a bad month. There was a month where I made like 4,000 profit. You have bad runs, but you're still adding customers to your database from all these Google ads and you can remarket them and they'll use you again, lifetime value, maybe they'll use you twice a year, maybe you'll pick up a commercial contract. You're stacking your customers. You're advertising your truck, driving around to all these Google Ads customers. But guys, you need bankroll. Reverse that. Okay, so bad runs, how do you reverse that problem? You need bankroll. Put 2 to 3 months aside that you can blow. So go kick ass traditionally, go work. Do social media, add 100 people a day, go network, go to 20 buildings a day, drop off gift baskets, do 1,000 yard signs. Yard signs work, I promise you. Door hangers, Craigslist every day. Just do everything every day until you have the bankroll to play with the big boys on Google. That's problem number 1, reversed it. Okay, you suck at phones. Problem number 2, get good at phones. Problem number 3, or one of the other problems was your AJS, average job size, isn't high enough. See what your average job size is right now. Take the amount of jobs that you have, the amount of sales, divide them. What is your average job size over the last month? If you don't have these numbers, start getting them. Solution number 1 is reverse engineer everything. Pick a company and stick to it. It will work if you stick to it. Or, you guys ready for it? Run your own ads. That's the solution. If you run your own ads, you can be more cautious. It'll be a lot slower, but you can run them and kind of maintain them and you'll learn a lot. It's gonna be a pain in the ass, but you can cautiously work your way up. You can set your maximum cost per click and you're gonna be at the very bottom. You're not gonna be on the top 3 results, you'll be down here. The organic results 1 through 10, and then there's more ads at the very bottom that rotates. So you'll be down there. You'll get 1 click a day, 2 clicks a day. But you can take the time to minimize the risk and build your campaign and collect data. And then when you start collecting data and you see what's going on, you see your negative keywords are locked in, you don't see any bad things showing up, you could crank your maximum cost per click from $5 to 10 to 10 to 15. And then you can start switching to target CPA, target per conversion. Like, okay, I want my target conversion right now to be 30. You're not gonna get as much volume because you are bidding low. If you wanna play with the big boys, you gotta get to that $60, 50 to 60. And I'm hoping it'll level out over, everybody trying Google ads. They get pushed out because they just can't play with the big boys. They run through their bankroll. They do something wrong. They keep hopping from company to company to company. But that is the solution. Run your own ads. In my course, I teach you how to run your own ads and I teach you how to do it by minimizing risk and setting a very low cost per click and how to do your own. I should go through it's like a 4 or 5 hour course that's in my description down below. Or you can just Google it. If you wanna learn how to run Google ads, you can YouTube all this shit for free. My course just puts it all in a nice little 100 videos in order. You just follow. But that is the solution, guys. I know it's not some magic fairy dust that I can sprinkle on you guys that makes this shit work, but that's the answer. I hope this opened your eyes a little bit, because Google ads are tough. It costs money. If you're going to rely on Google ads like I did, and I don't want you to rely on Google ads like I did, because you spend a float of money every day. It works. I mean, I had a database of 5,000 paying customers, not including the other 6,000 leads that I wish I would have saved into a lead database, and that's a whole nother video. But I hope that helps, guys. But that is the reality of what I've come to understand from the lot of phone calls that I've had with subscribers that have called me, and people also in my program that just have questions on Google ads. So if you want to play with the big boys, go read those problems, reverse engineer, and you will be fine. You can make Google ads work, but once you set a budget, you stick to it. So when I decided to go from 200 a day to 500 a day to 1,000 a day, I don't adjust it. My Los Angeles location, I've set to 500 a day. In busy season, I set it up to 700 or even 1,000 a day during the summer. And then I have my Ventura location set to 500 a day. Ventura does not hit 500 a day all the time. The search volume is not there. Both of those locations, I would average $700 a day, and I never bat an eye, even on bad days. I've accepted my fate. You need to accept it, and you need to let it run, because the law of averages, okay, guys? Let it run its course, because if all 7 problems you have reversed, you will make minimum 3x your ad spend, and on a good month, 5x. So with that being said, I leave you with this. Success is often covered in dirt, but so is gold at one point. Toodles! Let's tell you my story real quick. I've always been a software engineer my entire life. I started programming when I was 10 years old, but I started with HTML on AOL 3.0, and they would teach you basic HTML tags. So I was learning this shit at 10 or 11 years old. Then I just slowly progressed and started building more websites, learning PHP, learning databases like MySQL and all that stuff. The last app that I was working on was a travel app. I raised $150,000 from investors, and that was actually right before COVID hit. It was a travel app meant to travel with friends across the world, the globe, and they didn't even want you to hang out with your family. I kept telling the investors, it's gotta go away someday. I have the app semi-ready to go. We wanted to start doing beta testing, but nobody wanted to fly, let alone pay for this new experimental travel app that I was trying to show to the world. Me and my lady had our second kid, newborn, and we're burning down to our last few $1,000s. And it's getting to a point where I'm like, we need money now. So one of my friends I was talking to, and he's like, dude, I used to do junk removal. I looked into it, I Googled it, I found Sonoma Strong, $1,000 a day, Steve Conroy, $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, and I was like, $1,000 a day. Started with Thumbtack, started with Craigslist, got to Google Ads probably by month 1 or like the end of month 1, month 2, I think. Went from 200 a day to 500 a day to 1,000 a day. From there, it's just been incredible. This is a great industry. If you're stuck and you need to figure out how to make some extra money, you can grow this into a very profitable business. You can do very well for yourself. I'm doing very well for myself. It takes a lot of work outside of the labor part, the marketing part, the hiring part. Everything is hard. It has potential. It is a very easy-ish, predictable path to make money. The service industry is so much easier to get into because it requires just your time, and everybody's gonna need this service, okay? You trade your time for money. It doesn't matter if it's landscaping, moving, junk removal. There are so many home services that you can get into that don't require a skill. People need this home service. So getting into the services business is a very safe, predictable, slow growth path, but very doable. That is the beautiful thing about junk removal. So guys, if you want to check out the course and you want your A to Z on how to build a junk removal business, check it out in the link below.